Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
Hey guys, what's up? Amir Ryder here, Transform Sales Podcast, software demo review series. Tyler Denk, CEO of Beehiiv. I have been chasing this man down for 8 months to get him on the podcast. What's up, dude? How are you?
Happy to be here. Very
Quick
happy.
story. I got a lot of stories. I'm going to just stick to the good ones. So I found Beehiiv when I was using HubSpot, and out of nowhere, our delivery rate went from, our open rate went from 40% to 5%. And I had to move quickly because I don't like missing my weekly newsletters. And I was able to quickly use Beehiiv, transfer over my contacts, and started making emails right away. And I really liked the product, and that's why I was chasing Tyler down to get him on the show. But now he's here, and we're going to talk about Beehiiv for B2B revenue leaders looking to generate meetings and revenue through email, newsletter emails with speed and high deliverability. Tyler,
well written.
How are you?
Well written. That's exactly what we do. So happy to chat about it.
I appreciate what you built, man. Let's talk a little bit about the alternatives of what customers were using before your software, how you came up with the idea. I know for anyone listening, this is not just an email tool. They have an ad network. They got a lot going on. We're not going to talk about all that because you're building an ecosystem, right? But maybe you could give us the lowdown. Like, what were people using? Was it a personal pain point? Talk to us.
Yeah, I can give you a bit of context. So I joined Morning Brew back in 2017 as the second employee, building the product, the engineering, and the growth strategy as there. When I first joined, we had 100,000 subscribers. We scaled that to 3.5 million and then got acquired by Business Insider in 2020. And so through that experience, I built a referral program to help us grow faster. I built dashboards to understand who our audience was and how we could accelerate growth, how we can retain growth, how we can drive more revenue. I built a content management system that our writers actually use to create the emails themselves. And then I built the ad management platform where the sales team, brand partnerships team, copywriters would use the software to understand what brand deals we had in pipeline, had the copywriting done, and then fully integrated into the newsletter. So very long-winded way of saying this entire ecosystem of how Morning Brew operated, from content creation to growth to monetization, was mostly custom built in-house.
Yeah.
Something that I had built and led. And around the same time, there was a huge spike in interest of launching newsletters, growing newsletters extremely quickly. You would see whether it was Axios, The Hustle, Morning Brew, all sell and have a successful acquisition. At the same time, you were seeing a lot of journalists, writers, B2B experts going independent and publishing more content. And so that was really the impetus for what Beehiiv is. It is, in a way, Morning Brew in a box. It allows you to easily create emails, easily send emails, have incredible deliverability, but also helps you grow faster and also monetize your content and your emails.
So if I heard you correctly, you were part of a hyper-growth newsletter that was successfully sold for a good deal. You saw how complicated it was to actually just build a back-end infrastructure, and then you decided to solve the problems around what your expertise was, the complexity, and made it into a turnkey system for others to launch and build a newsletter like Morning Brew without having to hire a Tyler Denk doing all the technical work. You built it.
If you use Beehiiv, you have a personal Tyler Denk doing everything for you.
I see that. It's funny because it sounds like me, because I tell people, I'm like, if you want me to be your commission-only salesperson, you'd hire me, but I got a marketplace and I do the same thing. So it's hilarious. Similarities, man. Talk to me a little bit about like a demo. Could you show us quickly how a B2B revenue leader could, with speed and accuracy, set up a newsletter, design it, send it out? I could even demo it because I use Beehiiv every day, but I don't want to steal your thunder.
I'm actually curious if you're open to demoing it. I'd love to see how you're using it, because you actually seem to be
I'm going to say yes.
The direct profile of a B2B sender, correct?
Sold.
Good.
All right. I'll show you how I use it. I get to see my top metrics right away. I got 33% increase in subscribers, 39,000 active subscribers, 36% open rate. My click rate's down 57%. That's annoying. I'll talk about that another time. I don't want to confuse you, but I'll give you a sneak peek for our next listing, which is going to be how creators can generate revenue through the ad platform. But basically, I get offers for people to advertise, and I get paid per click right here. But that's a whole nother demo. So basically, what I did was I connected everything really fast with settings, and I just kind of wrote. What's up?
We launched the new settings page a few hours ago. So funny live demo here where you're seeing something maybe for the first time. But
I can make pretend really well.
Yeah,
I have a skill of making pretend like I belong. So I know all of this. I've seen all of this, but it's super easy, guys. UTM tracker. You can take a screenshot of this and put it in ChatGPT, like, help me integrate this, and it will. So it's super easy to import and export the emails into the system.
Also, I think you just hit on something that was actually extremely important. I think one of the biggest barriers that we see is I've been using HubSpot, Salesforce, MailChimp for 5 years. How do I move everything over? We actually have created importers for both content and for emails, where one click pulls in all of your content in previous posts and email campaigns. One click pulls in your entire subscriber base. And so we've actually completely removed the friction from moving from a different software provider onto Beehiiv.
I want to know more about this. We're not doing my demo. So check this out, guys. I'm going to go back to the beginning of time, right? Because for me, right, I think Tyler, and I'm going to say this with Tyler is the engineer, right? So Tyler knows the features, the bells and whistles, right? For me, the simplicity of what he built is what I loved, but I always find new features there that are awesome. But at the same time, what I find is I'm probably not using all your features, but what I care about is the fact that I'm getting, this is a low open rate. This 40,000 emails, 29,000% click rates, right? These are right off the bat what I'm looking for, right? And what I love about the software is that it's just so easy to use, right? Like I get in here and it all makes sense. I can easily put a picture here. I got my contents. I can add my authors, right? I can see my subtitle. It's super easy to add videos. You just literally click here and I do like this backspace thing and I can do bullets, numbers, and it's just the UI is great, right? Because it's not complex. So I can add all this stuff. I use probably like 4 of these for now, but I know that I got more to use, right? And all I would do every week, and like I said before, I'm focusing right now on how easy it is to use. But what I loved about it was every week, I just could come here and I would do duplicate, right? And then I'd have my duplicate for next week. And I just literally come in here. I got and I could see it's not published. I hit edit. And then I just redo it every time. So I have my structure and I have my format from all my last newsletters, right? This one was talked about the math of your ROI. This is a quote from an agency owner. I'm able to actually add, this, guess what? This podcast is going to be shared in a Beehiiv newsletter, right? So sometimes
the newsletter, this is your chance to promote the newsletter.
This is my chance to promote the newsletter. I talk about software candidates and agencies and the business challenges they solve for, right? So you're going to see a newsletter that says how to run a newsletter, grow it to 3 million and sell it in years, not decades, right? And then I'm going to quote you on your story. So I get to just listen to awesome people like Tyler that just really think deeply about problems and fixing it. And then I take the problem that he's been thinking 10 years about and I put it in a 30-minute podcast, but trust me, there's a lot of work behind this. But basically, I'm able to kind of just share things super fast, right? I get to see my word count. And then the cool part too is that after it's published, I'm always doing this too. So after it's published, you can go into a newsletter and it turns into a web page, right? So if you look at it, view published, right? It actually lives forever and it gets picked up in SEO and has an amazing SEO structure. So you're actually doing an SEO play and you can see I could quickly share this. I copy and paste it. I'm sharing this with people all the time. So it's not just a newsletter. You can quickly share it. And this right here, where you guys see Roku ad creative, this was an advertisement from Roku that said, hey, if you want to put this here, we'll pay $12 per click. And the best part about it for me is that 90% of the advertisers are revenue related and they're related to the topics I'm writing about. So sometimes I'm writing about like an AI assistant and I get an advertisement offer from like an AI assistant software. So it matches what I'm doing. But this is how easy it is. I can see all my past weeks, right? So it doesn't replace for me HubSpot newsletter because my HubSpot newsletter is more corporate. But this is kind of what I used to be like a mere writer and David Manjura and be more personal with my audience, right? And then another thing that's awesome is that it's super easy for people to sign up, right? You have your subscriber links here. You can embed them very easily. So and sorry for taking over your podcast, but
no, this is great. I mean, this is
user.
useful for me to see how you're using it, right? Because you know your audience better than I do in terms of what would resonate most with them. But you're hitting on all of the main points of we make it super easy to create emails. It's not just email. We also host the website on your behalf if you'd like. If you want us to integrate with your existing website, whether it's on WordPress, Webflow, whatever, we can. If you want us to have the SEO optimized website for you, one click, publish the web and the email. We collect emails for you. We collect data for you. We aggregate the data for you, make it super easy to understand who your audience is. So there's a lot.
This is my blog, my newsletter. This is my blog on my Cloud Test website, and you can see the call to action, Rev Up Weekly. This is the Beehiiv. So yeah, you make it very easy to collect subscribers, right? Very easy for subscribers to unsubscribe, which they also want, right? So you don't get, I get like zero spam because anybody could just easily unsubscribe if they don't want it. It also allows me to play around with different publications. So you can also, just FYI guys, I have a publication for a weekly 10. This is kind of where every week we email the top 10 candidates in our marketplace to buyers, right? But if somebody unsubscribes from this because they're no longer hiring somebody, they're not going to unsubscribe from what's it called? The other newsletter, right? Yeah. So you could separate your publications, right? You could have different authors. And you know what you really can do? You can generate meetings and revenue through emails with speed and High-Deliverability. I'm going to stop sharing because this will not be the last. This will not be the last podcast that we do, because what we do at CloudTask is we also help sellers like Tyler specifically talk about who they help and how. And as he builds his platform out, it does a lot of things, right? So we're going to probably talk again to kind of break down, hey, if you're a creator that's looking to generate revenue on your audience, right? They do that really well. They have a lot of things going on. Tyler, I'm going to put the mic back to you. Talk to me about the task deliverables and or people involved in setting up the software for this specific use case. And obviously it doesn't have to be complex. It could be simple.
Yeah, I mean, you can do this all yourself as you have, right? So you don't need an implementation. You don't need an engineer. Everything is no code. So you can create a custom website. You can create custom style newsletters. You can integrate with third parties. You can integrate it with your HubSpot, Salesforce, CRM, whatever. All no code, no engineers required, no marketing teams, etc. So I think simplicity is actually the biggest thing. I think one thing that you could probably take away from this is most of the existing software in the ecosystem was built a decade plus ago. We are coming in, building it from like the new 2024 software principles, UI, UX, making it incredibly easy and simple to use, but backed with the same strategies, data, and features used by a Morning Brew and all of these other companies who have had extreme success scaling an email newsletter. So it's some convergence of simplicity, incredible data and analytics, no code, and backed by like a proven strategy that works, which is really the sweet spot that we're operating in.
I could be a case study for that. And I would tell you that the money that I earned through their ad network paid for the licenses, which is awesome.
Which is the goal, right? That's
last time. Beehiiv was like, they wanted to promote it. I mentioned you last time. Talk to me lastly about just like, I'm a revenue leader. I want to get emails delivered fast. I want to generate meetings. What KPIs are they typically evaluating you on in that specific situation?
Yeah, so audience size and audience growth, right? As you expand the amount of people you're emailing, your customer size, like obviously up and to the right is better. Click-through rate, super important. So unless like you are a content first business where impressions is what you're optimizing, which would be opens, like opens is a metric. But if you are trying to drive traffic down funnel to your website to make purchases or schedule calls or whatever, then click-through rate, unique clicks, everything are also super important. And then obviously the most important is probably revenue and keeping track of costs. We are by far the most affordable solution in the market. And as you already mentioned, you have earned significantly more revenue using our ad network than you are paying us. You said it covers your entire cost. And that really is our North Star. It is, can you earn considerably more revenue through our software than what you're paying us? And how I measure if we are doing a good enough job is if that answer is yes, more often than it's no. And fortunately for you, it is. So
How I measure success.
yeah, of course.
All the things you said. And then the fact that it pays for itself just is like the cherry on top. Guys, if you want to check them out, you obviously have the website listing in our marketplace on this podcast. If you want to follow Tyler, where can they find you? He's going to move to Medellin one day. We're going to get him here.
More certain than one day, and within the next month, actually. But
Awesome.
you can find me on Twitter. Dank_tweets is the Twitter handle. Also LinkedIn, also my email. So feel free to reach out whenever.
I appreciate what you built. I'm excited to break it down into listings so that the right buyers can find it and maximize it, because that's my job. And I look forward to meeting you in person in Medellin, man. Thank you. And to everybody for tuning in to the Transform Sales Podcast. Until next time, take care.
Salud.